What is up, Sig fam? We are back. It has been a hectic weekend so far. There has been games happening all over the place. Play-ins, I think, has been a massive success. Personally, they're finished. Now we're on to the playoffs, games at reasonable times, which is something that everybody in Europe absolutely loves. Aren't we right? Anyway, the Sig fam, myself, is joined by House Lasku and House of 03. This is House of 03's first rep in the playoffs. So welcome to the Real Basketball, Jord. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. Playoffs, baby. Gotta love it.
Yeah, there's one thing that you won't love, and that's since we last spoke. Your four teams have dwindled down to two, Jord. So you have lost the San Antonio Spurs, which we spoke about a couple of days ago. And then the Warriors lost to the Grizzlies in that playing game. So the Warriors are bye-bye. And you are down to the two New York teams. Very interesting.
Rough in New York, man. Yeah, it was a strange one. It felt like I went to sleep and I woke up and they were gone. And I had to do the double check of the notes. But yeah, down to two teams. But it's okay. I'm still feeling confident. Like I said, you only need one team to make it to the playoff finals. So teams has got to go. So I got to be the first one. I'll take it, man.
Yeah, we'll join the club as it stands right now. Ed has all his four teams. He's sitting pretty. You've got two. Wildy's got all three of his teams. Matt's all of three of his teams, and Bray and I both are down to two as well. I'm a bit worried. I think I might be losing all my teams first. Go on, Ed. What are you going to say?
Do you want to do something unprecedented, Jordan?
Okay, let's hear it.
I'm not sure. How much do you want Portland?
Are you proposing a trade? Why?
I don't know.
Knicks?
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
This is perfect, and I'll tell you why, because of what happened with Portland. But let's catch everyone up on the games. So, like I said, we're in the playoffs. Saturday games were played. Let's start about the games that we're probably not going to go too much detail into. So, Matt's Clippers played the Mavs last night. The Mavs pulled out in game one on the road. Luka 30-point triple-double. Really good patience in the clutch, and great composure to see from that side of things. And then on Sunday morning, George, your Brooklyn Nets got the win against the Celtics, who Matt also has. The big three had something like 83 points, something ridiculous. Big performance from them. And then we're going to talk about these two games from Saturday, and we're going to go to the first game, which is the Bucks and the Heat, which was a barn burner.
So I watched this with our good friend Lancashire Lambert because we have I've got the Bucks and Matt has got the Heat. And watching the game, it felt there were a couple of times, which is something I spoke about to you, Alex, when we were watching Nets Bucks, is they just hate the Heat's just annoying shots within 10 seconds of the shot clock. Just run up and just take a random shot, mid-range shot, or like a jump up just out of nowhere. Nothing goes on, they just shoot it, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing there? There's no movement, there's no screen, there's no screens, there's no driving kicks, there's nothing. It happened a couple of times, which really annoyed me. The one thing to note about Miami in that game is Jimmy Butler did not have a very good game in terms of scoring output. I think he was, I think Alex, your reaction is probably just looking at his
4 of 22.
Yeah. So wow. There were a lot of times when the Bucks just let him shoot, and I wasn't mad at it. I was like, yeah, let Jimmy Butler shoot threes. Like that's he's not a great shooter. He can score, but he's not a great shooter per se. So I wasn't mad at the Bucks for doing that. But he did make the big bucket that counted at the end, which was the game tying shot. And another thing on Miami as well, they gave Bam a lot of space. So Bam may have been like the top of the key, or maybe just inside the 2-point range, and Lopez dropped off a lot and just thought, okay, cool, do we have to do? I'm just going to cover some spaces, and it forced Bam to take quite a few shots, which it didn't look like he was comfortable with either. So that was something else I wanted to know. And also on the Tyler Hero point, because obviously you spoke to Brandon about Tyler Hero. I felt it was just really embarrassing the fact that Duncan Robertson is playing crunch time minutes ahead of Tyler Hero in terms of his development, where he was from last year. And credit to Duncan Robertson, he had a pretty decent offensive night in terms of shooting. He made some pretty big buckets down the stretch. And also, I thought he played some really, really solid defense. The Middleton game-winning shot at the end of overtime, Duncan Robinson was all over him. Like, it was just really good defense, but Middleton just made a really, really nice shot. So I was really impressed with Duncan Robinson and what he was able to provide for the Heat. From a Bucks side, I'm a big fan of Middleton. I'm a big proponent of Middleton Island. I think he's a great shooter and great scorer and pretty undervalued for what it in the overall NBA. I think he's just really, really good. And secondly, what's his face? Drew Holiday, the impact he's had compared to Eric Bledsoe, where you feel it's just a much more confident ball handler and defensive presence. It's really nice to see. And then we'll end off by talking about Giannis. His free throws were just so hard to watch at times. We were watching it with another friend of Matt's, and during the game, they were making bets if Giannis will ever hit 2 free throws in a row, because it's just really bad watching his free throw and just how long it, because he got a technical for, not technical. He got a free throw taken away because of how long it took for him to take a shot, which I think it's just starting to be so much mental with Giannis taking free throws. But yeah, those are just overall thoughts. I reckon next game, Bucks were resting on the laurels just how poor Jimmy Butler was in terms of shooting. So, but Heat will definitely be back next game. But yeah, those are just some random thoughts.
Yeah, I will say, Ultra actually showed me a clip of Giannis shooting a 3-throw, and he took so long that the other player that he was compared to had shot both of his free throws by the time Giannis had shot the first one. That's how long he takes. Yeah, that's ridiculous. I think the only time, Ed, you probably remember this, is when Dwight had that 10-second call that Paul Pierce counted out. That's the only time I've seen a violation like that. But like you said, it's really interesting because the Bucks go 5 for 31 from 3, so they shoot really bad from deep. And then Bam and Jimmy struggle offensively. So you've got both sides where they could potentially improve. But I want to see this series go 6 or 7 games. But yeah. Okay, so let's move.
Of course you
of course I do. Wear them out.